Hello everybody and welcome to the CCA League. We have a fantastic doubleheader for you all here today. I am DRF, joined by my co-commentator for today, Kian. And I think we are starting off with a little bit of an explanation here. So this is the Division A Semifinals between UCSD Esports and PSU Splatoon from Penn State. So the issue right now is that there is a missing Ethernet adapter from UCSD's team. So they are going to, there's been an already notable match delay here. Penn State will be receiving game number 1 by default due to the delay. And we will be proceeding with game number 2 in a 3v4. So we are just gonna, hope for the best, to be honest, because this is definitely not how we anticipated getting this one started. But we're going to go ahead and jump into game number 2, Splat Zones on Wahoo World.
Yeah, and with UCSD having to be behind 1-0 due to the match delay penalty, I'm gonna be curious to see how UCSD adapts, and also to a 3v4 situation. So we did see Penn State a few weeks ago go crazy against their match against UT Dallas. Let's see how they fare here. Let's roll in.
Right,
looks like right now we got the 8 brush on Kraken's side, we got the K Pro on Piri, K Shot on Calico, Snow has your Neo Splashomatic, and then on the UCSD side, Mofugami on the CDS, Jet Squelcher on Goat Child, another Neo Splashomatic, as well as the third UCSD member, as right now is gonna be Penn State taking control.
Yeah, I mean, UCSD is hanging in there right now. They do have control of the zone and the lead at this point, but they're playing with a permanent numbers disadvantage. So every death, every trade just goes in favor of Penn State. So they have to play extra cautious and not pick any fights that just aren't necessary.
Yeah, in a 3v4 situation, definitely losing one of your team members alone is going to be a huge swing or a huge advantage for the team of 4 in most scenarios. So as you mentioned, UCSD has to pick their fights correctly and see if they can avoid getting picked there. As soon as we say that, Kraken does take out one, but it's going to go down in the process. Mofugami finds Kraken to start. It's going to still be 2 down on Penn State, and maybe this might be the go for UCSD as Wooby takes out Piri as well, as UCSD does take control to get things going. So they are holding their own, and Penn State's going to have to quickly respawn in, and UCSD is taking down some of those points remaining.
Yeah, and they're actually hunting for the lead here. They're going to go ahead and grab this at this stage. Goat Child with a nice pick there. They're going to try to shut down Kraken, and they get the splash down cancel. That's going to be 3 down on the side of Penn State. UCSD holding off for dear life.
Yeah, the huge splashdown cancel unfortunately makes that 2 or 3 down on the Penn State side. UCSD is also fighting more members of Penn State. Penn State's having to straggle in, and with 17 points remaining, Penn State's got to find a way to go right in. Mofugami did go down in the process, so here comes the 10 missiles, and Penn State does wrestle control back. It's a huge penalty applied for the UCSD Esports, but man, what a start for UCSD. Despite losing 1, they are definitely holding their own and very close to KO range.
They are. I think they really just had to get the KO there. This is going to be such an uphill battle. Even though they have this lead, it's going to be so difficult for them to hold on to this. So I think this is, still Penn State's game to lose, despite what the numbers might tell you at this point.
Yeah, but however, UCSD has been picking the right fights and finding the important finds on Penn State's side. Kraken once again going down, so as long as they can find numbers there, Mofugami does take out Snow in the process. UCSD takes control back, and again, UCSD's been finding a lot of these fights very well, or finding even some of these picks. Penn State hasn't found much control to come in with, and that's the team of 4. They did lose 2. Mofugami is going down 2v2 right now. Gonna be curious to see how Penn State still plays this out, as they do have control at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, UCSD have been doing a great job of finding these 1v1s because they know that they can win these 1v1 situations. That's one thing that they've been so good at all season long, and they need to leverage that. Penn State, what they need to be doing, on the other hand, is finding these 2v1 situations. UCSD is always going to be at a numbers disadvantage. Punish that. But so far, UCSD has done an excellent job of not allowing that to happen. But of course, I say that as Goatchild does go down here, and now this is a great opportunity with all members of Penn State up to try to isolate Mofugami and CD Wumi in some 2v1 scenarios here.
And Penn State is getting out of those penalty points, and as you mentioned, 2v1 situation for Penn State is the game to play, especially now that they are out of those penalty points. They can't afford to lose too many members. The K shot goes down though for Penn State, so it is equaled out to 3v3. And again, Penn State has to surrender control. UCSD gets it back, and the penalty points applied again for Penn State. Again, UCSD finding members of Penn State, and Penn State losing advantages quick. UCSD's playing this so well. 2 down for Penn State. Make that 3.
Mofugami with a huge double there, and they're gonna continue to work on these penalty points. Kraken is isolated. Kraken's gonna go down as well. UCSD holding on, almost out of the penalty here with 30 seconds to play. 2 down. They hold the numbers advantage, and they're gonna run into CD Wumi on that top side there, and UCSD's gonna hold on for the knockout.
I can't believe this. UCSD numbers disadvantage, but they were finding 1v1s across the board. Members of Penn State falling down fast, and again, Penn State didn't really have a huge stranglehold of the zone whatsoever. UCSD played that 3v4 perfectly.
Oh, do you see that scoreboard there? My goodness, 13, 12, and 11 down the board for UCSD, handing Penn State 2 fat bagels there. Wow.
I cannot believe this. Again, UCSD, they played that so well, and as you mentioned, double-digit splats across the board by these guys. UCSD, they again, one man down, whatever. We can still win this as a team of 3, and they showed it just like that. My goodness.
Man, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm assuming that Penn State, UCSD are going to just maintain communication here. And it seems like, yes, they're going to keep a 3v4 going, but they're going to allow some time for UCSD's fort to possibly get in here while dealing with a couple of facility issues. So I think it's going to be about 2 minutes allotted between each game to make that happen. But, here we go, actually.
Speak of the devil.
The lobby, right? Yes, speak of the devil indeed. So we now have a 4v4 matchup. This is a best of 5 series now. Actually, supposed to be a best of 7. Penn State took game 1 by default. UCSD with one hell of a game to keep themselves in it and tie it up. And now, really, this is a best of 5.
I mean, you're in best of 7. We got the match delay penalty. We're down 3. What could possibly go wrong? We can still find a way back. Winning that important map too. Now back to full strength for UCSD. Things can quickly turn, and of course, it's also a lot more fun on a 4v4 situation. I don't think UCSD was phased whatsoever, given their circumstances either. That was a really well-focused map 1. But now we enter into map 2 for Manta Maria Tower Control, and there's just a lot of ways to play this map. I'm going to be curious to see how both these teams dish out, and from a composition standpoint.
Yeah. Man, one thing that I think is going to be interesting here, I'm curious what Kraken's going to do. Because Kraken Mayor is a phenomenal brush player. Everyone knows them as the brush player. However, there are some scenarios in which Kraken pulls a little bit of a funny and brings out the Clash Blaster, which I think would be a phenomenal pick here. Because with Enda now here in this lobby as well, we can possibly be anticipating either a blob or a tent, and I think that Clash Blaster might do a good job of trying to work some of those angles against either of those picks by Enda.
It's gonna, and as you mentioned, we've seen it a few weeks before. Nope, not the case here. Kraken's sticking with their ink brush, so not much would change there. They're gonna keep things going. The only difference now, Calico on the K52, so we got some Booyah Bomb presence on Calico's side. Mofugami switching over to the NZAP 85, and a different variant of the Cadet Squelcher now. on the hands of Goatchild, and then CD Woomy, of course, on the Carbon Roller Deco. And I'm blanking on the last one. I think that's a Kensa Rapid Blaster of some variety on the other side, as both teams entering in 3v3.
Yeah, so 3v3 scenario here in mid, but a couple of trades here going down in mid. So that is going to give UCSD a slight advantage here to work with to start off this game. No one really making a move quite yet. Both teams just kind of getting pick for pick here, matching each other. And it's just a matter of time before someone ends up paying here big time. And that's actually with 2 down here, Penn State's going to be the one moving this tower.
Great idea by Penn State, making sure they can still get as much as they can down. However, they did lose 2 members. K-Rapid definitely finding some value there, so that push is going to get stalled just a bit, and we're back to trying to see if they can wrestle control of mid. Both teams losing members real quickly here, and as we see, Woomy is diving deep, so hopefully this can get something going for UCSD as they take the early lead.
Yeah, that's going to be first checkpoint possibly as well, but Calico doing an excellent job trying to contest it. Not going to happen, though. So this tower is going to proceed forward, 2 down on the side of Penn State. And CD will be with a nice pick there in the bunker. Hopefully trying to get a second pick here. They're going to be looking for this to open up this tower path. And yes, they find the second one as well. The Chicken Rush going to be coming out
man!
to control the street. And 3 down on the side of Penn State. UCSD going to try to make this the biggest push so far and try to close it out here.
Yeah, my reaction has said it all. That was 3 down, so this will extend the lead for UCSD here. They're trying to get past checkpoint 3, where Penn State's still trying to find a way in. They just got past it.
Yeah, and this might be over if UCSD could just hold on for a little bit longer, but no, 3 down, that's a delayed wipe. So Penn State going to breathe a bit of sigh of relief here as they get another shot to extend this game a little bit. 3 specials online halfway through this game, so definitely not over, but an uphill battle is in the cards for Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State having to crawl back, see if they get past 9 points remaining. It's a huge, tall task really for Penn State to go with. But again, a lot of time left on the clock. No, as we see, 2:10 left. There's still plenty of time for Penn State to make something happen, but it's going to have to start with finding important finds there. Kraken's going to find Goatchild real quickly here. So again, Penn State, they're still trying to find some areas to work around with. Maybe that one pick might get something going for Penn State as they're just pushing this tower right now.
Yeah, and this first checkpoint looks like it's going to fall, but they get off the tower for a moment there. Kraken gonna try to force it, but no, gets shut down by Mofugami. And that's gonna be the end of that push for Penn State. UCSD coming at it with a 2v1 advantage. Tower's going to reset. Neither team really has any momentum here to make anything happen. So this is just gonna once again result in a clash from mid. Definitely what these teams are going to have to do at this stage is build up some of these specials and hopefully get a couple of picks, as well as we do see Mofugami getting a 1-for-1 there, which once again is going to work in favor of UCSD, and this is going to open the door for a push from them.
Well, it is going to open a slight door for UCSD, but UCSD members were slightly dropping, so I don't think they can get much out of this one unless they can find the rest of the Penn State members right now. But Penn State holding their guard. Members are going to be slowly spawning in. So again, Penn State, 52 seconds left. They got to find something going on there. UCSD collapses onto Calico, so Calico is going to go down. 1 Squid down, meaning that UCSD might push enough of this tower to make this a much more uphill battle for Penn State here. I mean, UCSD just really doing a good job pressuring out Penn State. Woomy does go down in the process, but Booyah Bomb is thrown out right now just to stop UCSD from going any further. Yeah, 3 down now. Make that 4. That's a delayed wipe.
Yes, a delayed wipe indeed, and that's going to give Penn State one more solid opportunity here in the closing 15 seconds to get a push going. They do have to break through all 3 checkpoints and some to get the lead, but they should be able to get overtime here, but they do go 3 down.
Oh no!
So UCSD should actually be able to put this one away, and this one is over. UCSD now taking the lead in this set 2-1.
Yeah, that one UCSD push where 3 members of Penn State going down pretty much sealed it, and any attempt that Penn State trying to get a pushback gets thwarted by UCSD finding important finds against Penn State. And yeah, that scoreboard, Woomy finding 15, Mofugami finding 11. It was still a valiant effort from Kraken and appearing the rest of the Penn State to try to stay alive, but again, UCSD, one great push, and Penn State not being able to push the tower pretty much did it.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to Kraken here. Kraken's actually sending me some more detailed statistics from some of these games here. So, just real quick, that's game CD Wooby, 13 kills, 2 assists, to go with their 6 deaths. So, definitely leading the pack here for both of these squads, by getting a 2+ there on the, kill death ratio. so CD
Wow.
Wooby definitely put in a lot of work there. And I'm just seeing a lot of deaths across the board. And escaping with the least deaths at 5. It was just an absolute bloodbath between these two teams, but pretty even across the board actually.
And I think a good chunk of it was just trying to get past mid and see if they can find any advantages. Both teams just quickly getting trades 1 for 1, maybe 2 for 2, or even just slowly spawning in. So as you mentioned, just a huge bloodbath in that Manta Maria tower control map. And again, it really just came down to the one big push from UCSD. But yeah, as we mentioned before, just keep fighting, rolling right along, see if we can get control of mid, and they just kept going at it.
Man, so we're gonna be heading into game number 4 though here in a second. Rainmaker on Black Belly Skate Park. This is gonna be a fun and interesting one, very fast-paced map mode, and you just have to be really careful here because both these teams do like to play at a pretty blistering pace. You know, CD Woomy and Kraken kind of the prime examples here of how fast you can play this game.
Oh, absolutely. Both Woomy and Kraken just going fast and trying to see if they can find anybody, and just as long as they can play fast and go at it. It's just been a great performance from both these teams here. Real quickly, only one weapon change from UCSD. That is the blah blah around the hands of Enda. Right as they say that, Enda does go down. So still looking to wrestle control, see if they can get more members down on both these squads is what both of these teams are doing, and so far, not one of them really ready to pick up the Rainmaker just yet.
Yeah, they're really relying on getting a couple of picks here, but both teams playing a little bit cautious. The armor coming in huge for CD Woomy. They're surviving that splashdown from Kraken there. Neither teams picked up this Rainmaker. We're a minute in, and I think this might be unprecedented. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
Yeah, I was about to say Kraken might be proving us wrong in just a quick second. Members were slowly dropping down, and yeah, that's another member down for Penn State. The Calico just went down. Kraken's pretty much having to retreat just a bit, so Kraken still trying to find pass for the Rainmaker, only to go down yet again. Mofugami finds Kraken this go around, and yeah, they were playing very patient, trying to find if they can get more members down or any sort of map control there, and Penn State couldn't find that. UCSD quickly pushing in.
Yeah, and bringing this in within 30. The pedestal is painted. Can they get the knockout? Yes, they will. UCSD running away with this one after a solid minute there of back and forth action. Neither team really getting a solid grip on this match. I thought that was gonna stalemate forever, but one door opens for UCSD after a little bit of a ambitious pickup from Penn State, resulting in a KO.
And the quick swing there happened on a few places. 3 members down on Penn State. That was enough for UCSD to pretty much get pushed on the Rainmaker, and they did just that. End on the hands of that Rainmaker, and then Penn State lost another 3 members, so it left the door wide open. As long as Enda didn't get found, this was going to be UCSD's knockout to go, and they sealed the deal just like that.
Yeah, honestly, on that initial pickup that we saw from Penn State, it seemed like that pickup was, like I said, it was a little ambitious, but I think I understand why they were picking up. They had a slight numbers advantage there for just a moment, and it seemed like Penn State was going to be able to find an opportunity there. However, UCSD responding big time. The final count here is actually 9 kills for UCSD to Penn State's 4. So that definitely is kind of a tale of what happened in the first minute and what happened in the second minute, because it was pretty even with Penn State kind of starting to get an early advantage, but UCSD flipping it right on its head and running away with that in dominating fashion.
And what we're about to load into Clan Blitz Piranha here, as you mentioned, it was a bit of ambitious. I think also part of it was just slightly off timing there, because Penn State looked like they were ready to get pushed, as you mentioned, with the man disadvantage. But right as they picked up that Rainmaker, members quickly started falling on Penn State's side. So then Kraken had to pretty much retreat or play a little defensive. But again, also going down to UCSD, and with Penn State slowly straggling in, trying to spawn in and see if they can play defense and just getting found right away. Yeah, as you mentioned, the tail 2 minutes really did show there.
All right, these teams are readied up. UCSD at game point, leading 3-1. They're gonna try to close this one out on Clan Blitz Piranha Pit. Let's dive into this one and see what these teams end up bringing out for us.
I am seeing an arrow spray. That is a very fun pick. I say fun on this one. Calico switching over to the arrow spray PG. Kraken switching to the that's the rapid blaster. That is a rapid blaster from Kraken.
That is a rapid blaster. I can say that Kraken has been experimenting with this weapon. I did not think Kraken was gonna bring it out for this set. So I guess now it is tournament ready. So we're gonna see what Kraken can do on this rapid. So far, not exactly paying out as Kraken falls into the water, and that's gonna be a wipe. UCSD fighting an open window now. They're gonna be piling the clips in this way. When did this get to 29 remaining?
Okay, that went from 0 to 100 incredibly fast. Okay, to catch us up right here, Penn State did quickly fall down while we were being so enamored by the rapid blaster, and then the wipes are quickly coming in. UCSD's one button is go. It is literally 2 clamps left, moving, and the rest of that guys did it, and UCSD has done it.
What just happened?
I'm saying the same thing here too. That took me a minute to process. We were all so focused on that rapid blaster from Penn State, from Kraken, and yeah, Penn State quickly dropped fast on that map on Piranha Pit, and it opened the door for UCSD. I was not ready for the incredibly fast push UCSD was dishing out. You blink once, and then all of a sudden UCSD was down to 26 points remaining. I think that is exactly the best way to sum up that.
Yeah, I could not have put it any better myself. That was... I don't know. I don't know if I've seen anything move faster than UCSD did in that moment. So...
What? The entire time, while we were stuck in one speed setting, UCSD was like full speed ahead that entire time. That was incredible.
Okay, so just to be clear here for everybody, UCSD does win this match 4-1. They definitely have Penn State to thank here, because due to the various facility issues that they were dealing with, Penn State was very gracious enough to allow for the match to get delayed. They did compensate with receiving game 1 in their favor, but they were very nice. They could have forced UCSD to forfeit the set at the stage that the match had started at, but they went ahead and let it play out. So UCSD definitely has Penn State to thank, but UCSD is the winners here, 4-1. They have agreed in CCA tradition to play out the rest of this set, just for the fun of it, especially with whatever the hell happened in those last 2 games, going from 0 to 100 really quick, possibly in record fashion.
Record fashion, I think, is pretty much the understatement there. Just going 1 speed, and that was very, very fast. I'll touch base on these switches here from Penn State. I'm curious to see how both these teams are playing. Excuse me. And some of these are pretty much in line here. I see Period with I'm blanking on that. That's, I think, the Splash Shot replica, and I think that is Calico on the Carbon Roller, not the Deco, just the Carbon Roller. and then it is the E-Leader coming out on the hands of UCSD, and then the tent, especially there as well, as Penn State starts this one 2 down. UCSD has control right away, and yeah, we are playing map 6. I think this is map 6.
Yes.
They are playing this one out. Okay, cool. They are playing out this map 6 just for, as you mentioned, the CCA tradition of playing all 7 here.
Yeah, and CD will be already on the flat of Penn State, but they are the last one alive here, so this is going to be an exchange of zones in favor of Penn State. So they're going to get their first crack at controlling the zone, putting some points on the board. And they're actually doing a fantastic job here, starting to get UCSD to stagger and almost lock them out a little bit.
I appreciate the fact that Penn State has done a great job, you know, as you mentioned, just locking them out, trying to see if they can get anything going here. But UCSD might be able to quickly flip, and they did just that, and that's Fury going down. That's 2 down, actually, on the hands of Penn State. So UCSD did recover nicely. The lockout only lasted for a little bit there, but UCSD were finding different avenues to maneuver around, and Penn State right now only hold at 53 points remaining, 36 points in the penalty there, as UCSD's, I think, now trying to see if they can lock PSU out.
Yes, but there is someone coming from office, trying to make something happen, but no, Go Child sniffs that one out and shuts it down before it could even get started. But there's another flank here. Go Child gonna try to shut this one down, just gonna barely miss that splashdown cancel, but teammates gonna come in and clean this one up. UCSD well out of their penalty here, putting significant points on the board, closing in on 20 points remaining. Can Penn State find their way back in? It's going to be a tough one. They need to make something happen now, but they don't have the numbers to do so. So UCSD looks like they're going to run away with this one as well and win game number 6.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Penn State did try the very good attempt of trying to lock out UCSD from pushing out any further, but Penn State members were quickly falling, and UCSD decided that they could do an even better job, rather, of locking Penn State out, and that's what ended up happening here. So UCSD getting this 5th map to get things off, as we're about to roll into the 7th map.
Yes, so take a look at that one. I don't know how, well, okay, I was gonna say, I don't know how Kraken put down 900 points of ink, but then I realized Fizzy Bomb.
Yeah.
Kraken was running three mains there of sub power up.
And the best part was, the funny part was, I was expecting to get the Clash Blaster, as you mentioned from a few weeks ago, but Kraken dished out a completely different blaster entirely, so it actually threw me off a little bit there. But yeah, Kraken dishing out all of the different types of blasters that Kraken wants to dish out right now, and I'm absolutely loving some of these choices from Kraken, all things considered. And yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of sub power up, and just the amount of ink that Kraken did, despite the Luna Blaster choice being thrown in there, is just crazy.
Yeah, and on UCSD side there in that last game, they went down, Mofugami and Gochout only going down 1 time each. So definitely playing a lot of life there. Gochout definitely MVP, going with that 6 kills and 1 death. But let's go ahead and get underway here in our final game of this friendly play all 7 at this stage. Which is Rainmaker, sorry, not Rainmaker, Tower Control on Starfish main stage. Looking at the comps here.
Kraken, what are you doing to me at this point? That is an undercover Brella. That is an undercover Brella, I believe, from Kraken. There are a lot of feelings to process here. That's a Swiffer as well from Calico's side, and on both Gummy side, the K shot to get things going, as Penn State is losing control of tower control, and UCSD is able to get this push going. Here comes the Stingray being dished out right now by Penn State.
Yeah, and this Stingray is going to slow down UCSD for now, but they're having a hard time just trying to get to this first checkpoint. The tower is there, they just need to start working on the checkpoint itself, but there it is, finally going to get some more points on the board. Penn State trying to contest it, but it doesn't look like it's in the cards for them at this stage. Going to let that first checkpoint slip, and now a little bit of a rotation here. Now,
oh no!
Oh,
Oh And UCSD with the crucial wipe there. Now Penn State starting to spawn right. This is definitely checkpoint 2 right now. So right now UCSD is trying to do their best to get Penn State pretty much locked out of the tower and push as much as they can. There's got to be a last ditch attempt here for Penn State, and I think UCSD is just surrendering this push real quickly here.
Yeah, they don't need to keep they don't need to keep control of the tower. Keep the pressure up for sure, but don't need to make any sort of crazy moves happen. So smartly laying this back up, and look at this, another opportunity presenting itself almost immediately after.
Yeah, Penn State once again dropping a bit here, and it's yet more members going down for Penn State. They just got past checkpoint 3. That is a huge find, however. Kraken on, yeah, that is Kraken on the Umbrella finding the pick there on a Mofugami. It is now 2v2. Power is going to slightly reset a bit. They just got to find a way to maneuver around this one. UCSD is going to try to see if they can get a push back.
Yes, UCSD maintaining a lot of pressure here, just haven't been able to quite find anything yet, and Kraken with another splashdown, gonna eliminate Mofugami there, and that's gonna put the numbers completely in Penn State's favor. So UCSD now on the back foot here, relinquishing control of mid to Penn State. So now this is a fantastic opportunity for them to try to get something going here. A little bit of a flank from, I believe that is Mofugami, but Kraken gonna be able to find that one. And respecting boundaries, I suppose, as they both back off of each other. And once again, this is now UCSD finding their way back into mid and trying to get back some of that pressure that they had lost.
Yeah, the tower reset, so for Penn State, they can feel relieved that the tower is not in their territory for as long as it has. Right as I say that, UCSD is trying to fire back by sending the tower back in Penn State's territory here. It is 3v3 right now, and yeah, Penn State did definitely neutralize that push a bit there as much as they could, and definitely sent it back to mid, and it was pretty much a valiant attempt by Penn State to see if they can get a little further, and yeah, they just decided to respect each other there and not push any more than they need to.
But once again, now it's going to be 2 down on the side of UCSD. UCSD could not get this tower back to where they had left it. I mean, 4 is a really, really solid push, so they don't need these points necessarily, but at this stage, I think they really just want to secure this knockout for some pride. They're definitely playing with a little bit of fire under their butts right now, because I think they're a bit upset with, how the set sort of started, and they're unfortunately for Penn State, they're on the receiving end of this this absolute fury.
I think UCSD was channeling all the difficulties that they had. Wow, that's 3 down for Penn State, but however they did UCSD did lose 2. They are definitely channeling the fact that the Raven picking in, and it definitely showed earlier in this set there as Kraken finds 2. Remember, make that 3, then that's a wipe. 1 point remaining too.
Oh man, I know this isn't exactly the definition by 1 point meme, but they kind of just got the 1 point meme there. Kraken with a fantastic triple to assist Penn State in getting back a little bit of control here, giving themselves an opportunity in the closing seconds here. 2 down on the side of UCSD, so Penn State will get 1 shot here at the tower. This is their first shot riding the tower, and it's going to be in overtime. So can they take this one all the way and secure the knockout? They don't have numbers in their favor, but they do have a little bit of momentum at the very least, as UCSD trying to figure out what the heck is going on as they start to approach this tower out of spawn.
Yeah, UCSD might be collapsing in real quickly here, so Penn State definitely doing a good job butting around each other out, and there it is! UCSD put the stops on that push. They won the 6th map here in the 7th. Here in these best of 7 rather.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what else to say other than UCSD just played with absolute fire. They came into this one definitely a little bit, I think, upset in some regards, and it almost showed there. I mean, from game 1, game 2 technically, from game 2 all the way through game 7 here, just never letting up a single moment. And unfortunately, Penn State just was on the receiving end of such rapid fury.
Oh, and not often you see a 3v4 go in favor of the team with the 3 in most cases because of that numbers disadvantage. I'm looking back at game 1. I think UCSD entered game 1 knowing they have to get this point to at least, give themselves a big cushion. The fact they won the 3v4 alone really started to illustrate how this set could possibly go, and I think it really did show Penn State on the receiving end of some of these technical issues, and that UCSD was having to deal with, and UCSD unleashed it all in all these maps.
All right. Wow. So a fantastic set here for both of these teams, really. UCSD just going to be coming out on top here. They will be moving on to our grand finals, which is their opponent to be decided between the winner of ITAP, not dead yet, and Comet Blasters out of UT Dallas. So that's a 1v4 matchup. So that one is going to be happening sometime next week. So both these teams will have their eye out. Penn State still going to be playing for some pride in the third place matchup when that other matchup does come to fruition. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But that's going to go ahead and do it for game number 1, or match number 1, I should say. We are going to go ahead and take a little bit of an ad break. And we will be back soon with match number 2 of this doubleheader. The Neo Comet Blasters taking on PAL for Division B. For now, though, take a look at this ad from our wonderful sponsors at MSI.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's time for the CCA League Division B matchup this time. Back to the regular season this go-around for both these teams here. We got ourselves the Neo Comet Blasters of UT Dallas versus the Purdue Air Launchers of Purdue. Coming right to you. Try ignore the pause. Purdue Air Launchers with 3-1 record, and Neo Comet Blasters 2-2. Both teams are right here and ready to go.
Yes, they are. So we are gonna get this best of 7 regular season matchup started. So this is one of 2 matchups that are remaining for the regular season in Division B. These 2 teams still have some stuff at stakes though. The winner will very solidly be in the 2nd seed. The loser dropping down the 3rd and possibly into 4th, but both of these teams I believe have secured the playoffs at this stage.
Yeah. For the Purdue Air Launchers, they are at the second. They're at the 2nd place position right now in Division B. Neo Comet Blasters at 3rd, so definitely still within range for playoffs. Actually, in fact, they probably are at this stage. But of course, we still got to make sure who can get that 2nd seed, importantly, in Division B. So we're gonna be curious to see how both of these teams play out. We're about to see as we're about to load into Splat Zones in Skipper Pavilion, which is always a fun map mode combination for me to witness coming into this first map.
Splat Zone Skipper definitely is a lot of fun, just with how many different ways you could kind of play this one out. I guess there's really 2 main approaches here, but it's always fun to see how these teams decide to balance out, you know, attacking from the top side of the zone versus the bottom side. Who do you put where? How many people do you put on either side? And what is the other team going to bring out? So if you see a specific weapon playing from that top side, who are you going to send up there to challenge them? You might need to be making adjustments as this game actually gets started. And with that said, Kian, let's take a look at these comps.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be curious to see what both these teams dish out right now. We got Ink on the blah side. I got Spam on the dualies there, double dualies, I believe, to be more specific. Mari's got your Jet Squelcher. Noob's got your 96 Gal, or I'm pretty sure I got the number right to begin with. On the other side, we got the Tent. We got the Kenton Dynamo Roller, the CDS, and the Blobber deck. More specifically, map control has been secured for the Purdue Air Launchers, as right now they're about to take down on some of those points. Gonna be curious to see if there's a counterattack on the side of Neo Comet Blasters.
The bomb rush is out here, so this could possibly flip the zone. It does bring him to neutral, but it's not going to be enough to flip it. Finally going to make it happen here, though. So, but it only lasts for actually just 1 whole second there, and now they're in a worse spot with that 101 points, the classic.
Yes, 99 points remaining. Only when you get the 1 point, and then all of a sudden the lead, the zone flips back. And in this case, Purdue Air Launchers there does do just that. And an unfortunate thing that I did notice there, one of the members on UT Dallas' side actually went down to the bubbles more there as well. Took a face full of the bubbles there. So very unfortunate on that side. And right now, Purdue Air Launchers, Air Launchers having a huge stranglehold on the zone. As soon as I say that, the point is flipped.
And yes, this is a much better flip out of the Neo Comet Blasters than what they initially got. So this is going to be significant points on the board for them. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take PAL to start working their way back towards this zone, and if the Neo Comet Blasters are going to be able to put up a strong enough defense.
Yeah, and right now, Purdue Air Launchers still playing this one a little patiently here. They are having to respond to the defense here. Blue Bomb is going to be coming out right now, and the point is flipped back. A well-placed Blue Bomb with a lot of ink support there, definitely flipping it, and right at the nick of time. It is a 9-point remaining difference on both of these teams here, as Plan B is right now painting the zone. Once again, Purdue Air Launchers, they played that one a little patiently. They knew they had a good chunk of a lead, so they just had to make sure they can play to that Neo Comet Blasters play to them. Plan B gets a long hit towards one of the members on the Neo Comet Blaster side, and right now Purdue Air Launchers still holding on to this point again until the point is flipped again.
Plan B doing a fantastic job here of just getting a couple of nice picks. losing control of the zone there just for a moment. He's going to slap on a little bit of a hefty penalty, but it is enough to keep that pressure up. So even though they are going to have to rework their way through this penalty, they're in a fantastic spot nonetheless.
That was so Plan B tried to pressure out the rest of UT Dallas or Neo Comet Blasters out there by trying to jump into one of the platforms there near the statue, but it was well snuffed out by Neo Comet Blasters, so Plan B went down fast. But again, Neo Comet Blasters, where is the counterattack? They're finally rushing down mid, and they finally managed to secure it. Excuse me there, as Neo Comet Blasters, they did apply the huge penalty point to buy enough time for Neo Comet Blasters to try to strike back. They did find the pick on the Omazen. The bubble takes out Ink, and Corey keeps pressuring them out right now. That's 3 down for Neo Comet Blasters.
Oh man, that is a huge couple of picks there for PAL, as this is going to almost assuredly get them a knockout. They can just keep the defenses up long enough with that pick on the block.
Oh, yeah.
I think this one might just be done, barring a miracle push here. And oh, they actually almost got the neutral.
That was really close there, as you mentioned, almost getting the neutral, but Purdue Air Launchers managed to hold it on just enough. And yeah, Purdue Air Launchers starting this one strong. They get the first map.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of back and forth action that we saw there between these two teams. Looking at the KA distribution there, that definitely was a lot stronger in PAL's favor. But the Neo Comet Blasters definitely put up a really good fight nonetheless.
Yeah, I gotta applaud the effort from Neo Comet Blasters. They're definitely still trying to fight back as much as they can. Purdue Air Launchers had a huge start there, gained as many points remaining down as much as they can. But in Neo Comet Blasters side, just they had a lot of good plans to at least counterattack and get the point flip, but just wasn't enough. And Purdue Air Launchers, they were able to get this first map here. Now be curious to see how this second map goes for Inkblot Art Academy, Tower Control specifically at that.
Ah, yes. This is... I've always liked this map mode combo. I think it does an excellent job of kind of giving you a little bit of everything, allowing for everybody to sort of thrive here in their own capacity. There's not really a terrible pick that you can get here in terms of, you know, weapon choices and compositions. This really just has more so of a focus on how you play as a team, because with this map mode, it's really how you push together. As with that first checkpoint, you know, it's a little bit tricky trying to work around that wall, stuff like that. But if you get a couple of picks, you need to start getting it together. You better be on the other team's plat. You better be getting up into their bats. And that's how you win here. And it's just how well can a team coordinate themselves to get that done. Because if you get that done, you're almost assuredly going to ride this one out to either a knockout or very near a knockout.
It's a good point knowing that checkpoint 1 location, because you got to make sure to apply as much pressure on the enemy team as much as they can, especially with the fact you're going to have to make sure that the enemy team doesn't try to spawn in. I am seeing an NZAP 89 on both sides. Spam has one for Neo Comet Blasters. Omazen on the has one as well on Purdue Air Launchers. Tri-Slosher on Morty's side. Some big differences here. It's an overall comp change on Purdue Air Launchers. The Kenzo Luna Blaster, that I think that's a foil Flingza roller, and the Vanilla Splattershot Jr. at that. So both teams really for Purdue Air Launchers a very different changes in compositions. Neo Comet Blaster kind of sticking to very similar choices there. Well, really I did say similar, but there was the Rapid Blaster change as well later on. So gonna be curious to see how both teams start things off here. Pretty much an all-out duel in mid on both sides. Not one team really trying to get control. They're trying to make sure they can get as many picks or as many finds as they can and get as much control down on that mid side. But both teams really just kind of brawling it out.
Yeah, a minute in, and we have finally the Neo Comet Blasters touches the tower with their pinky toe to move it a whole 1 inch. And finally, as a result of that, it's going to be a couple picks there from PAL. They're going to go ahead and ride this one all the way out to this first checkpoint. The Blob trying to get something done here. And no, they're not going to be able to get through that first checkpoint at all. They're going to go ahead and jump back, allowing the Neo Comet Blasters to gain control of mid here. A minute and a half in, and we're finally starting to see some a little more aggressive gameplay from either of these teams as they you know, start to get back and forth control of mid here. This is starting to seem more like an actual game.
It took a little bit of a slow going for both teams, and then Powell finally decides they're gonna get going. That's a nice find, actually, a really beautiful find by Noob there to take out Plan B, but Noob flies too close, almost then finds Noob right there, and yeah, Powell had a great start, but they did lose 2 members on that first initial push, so it was a wise retreat actually, because they could have went down. They're gonna just reset, regroup, and just try another push for another time.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen this slow of a start. I don't know if slow is the right word here necessarily, but I'm going to use it for lack of a better term. Because both of these teams are getting just picks left and right. It's an absolute bloodbath, but no one's really made meaningful progress here. Neither team has broken through this first checkpoint halfway into this game.
It's a very methodical approach right now. Really, both teams are trying to make sure that they can get as many picks and finds as they can towards the enemy team. But the enemy team is also trying to play the exact same thing. You're just seeing both these teams play a lot more methodical, a lot more patient to make sure that they can get a much better push as they can. Again, it might be because of how Inkbot Art Academy is for this specific mode of tower control, but right now that's just what we're seeing. And again, it's still an all-out duel, and we're 2 minutes left, and not a high-scoring affair so far.
Oh man, you would think that Splatoon had a team deathmatch mode from watching this game. But honestly, I think this really does loop back to those talking points as you were mentioning, where it kind of, you have to push together as a team, and we've been seeing that the effort is there from these players to try to push as a team, but no one really can find the numbers advantage to do so, because both these teams are starting to creep up into each other's plats. Ooh, nice pick there from Omazen on the callback from the Ink Jet, and finally it just seems like it's going to be a few down on the side of the Neo Comet Blasters, which now opens the door for Pal to make something happen, but no, they're not going to be able to keep this pressure up as this tower is going to reset. 79 remaining is what might actually be a winning score here.
You spoke too soon on that one, and I don't blame you at all. It almost looked like it was a good start for Pal, honestly. With that one again, though, they were all spread around. And actually, this could be a good-looking push on Neo Comet Blaster side. There has to be a response. It is.
Oh! They got hit with the 1-point meme. They tied it. But no, wait, are they gonna get it now? They're going back to the checkpoint, but no, Gold gets back on the tower. The Neo Comet Blasters can't hold on to this tower long enough to make anything happen. Ink gonna give it a shot now right in this tower. 25 seconds to go, and neither of these teams can get on this tower for long enough to make anything happen. The Comet Blasters just trying to keep the pressure up. They literally need to just push the tower an inch more to get the lead, but they still can't get it done.
They still can't. That's 2 down. They got 5 seconds left. There's only 1 member left of Neo Comet Blasters. It's still not enough. There's 1 down. No.
What a crazy ending to that one.
All right. It's okay. A low score. We're gonna try to round it back here. A valiant attempt at Neo Comet Blasters. Powell put all of the pressure onto that first checkpoint. Neo Comet Blasters could not find the 1 extra point. It almost looked so promising, but all it was a tie, and you can't have ties in rank modes at all. So it bumps them back up to 81 remaining, and he still couldn't find the push. It was so close, but Powell held onto it. And I think this is one of the few lowest scoring matches I've seen in Inkblot Tower Control in quite a long time. 79 points remaining, as you mentioned, was the winning score.
My jaw is just on the floor right now after what we just witnessed. That was probably the most exciting passive low-scoring game I have ever seen in my life.
I appreciate the fact that both these teams tried to play methodical. Again, we're gonna go back to the talking points that we mentioned a couple times. They were trying to angle around that first checkpoint, trying to see if they can eliminate as much of the other team as they can. The other team thought the same way. They were trying to see if they can get maybe 2, maybe 3 down as much as they can to get a better push going so they can then pressure out the rest of the enemy team. It didn't happen at all. It was very methodical the way both teams approached it. Just how that one push was just enough, and Neo Comet Blasters just couldn't find the extra point that they so needed in that one.
Wow, I mean, what a heartbreaker there for the Neo Comet Blasters.
Really was.
And if you go back to that one, I would love to see a clip of this played back later on, but it literally came down to a duel. It was an absolute deathmatch. The game was decided by a deathmatch. Multiple players from both teams on the tower just going one down at a time, and finally it came down to a 1v2. The Neo Comet Blasters, I think, managed to get one member from PAL, but weren't able to get the second. But we have hinged on that game long enough. It was so fantastic, but we do need to go ahead and move on to game number 3. PAL gonna be leading this one 2-0 as we head over to Rainmaker on Starfish main stage.
Let's see how both teams approach this one. This is the same comp, but different weapons on PAL, and it's not that, and really 3 weapon swaps there. The tent is back. Plan B on the Blob Blobber this time, and Colt's got a Clash Blaster. All right, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the choice there from PAL. So PAL really going with a lot more protective, more long range side of the fence. So let's see how this plays out for PAL there. As everybody pretty much is pretty much playing this methodically. I want to say this again, but again, it's still very early. 2 down now for Neo Comet Blasters, and make that 3. Oh, they lost 3 already.
Yeah, that's a delayed wipe. This Rainmaker is snowballing into the pit of UT Dallas here. The bubble's going to be coming out as well to help assist this push. A hero effort there from, I believe that was Morty there to make to get the stop, but not going to get it. Finally happening though. 2 down on the side of PAL, so this push might just be about dead, but they're still maintaining a little bit of pressure here, just trying to keep that window of opportunity just creep open, and actually, we're going to get a hard reset here.
It is a hard reset, but again, PAL's in position, and once again, Neo Comet Blasters quickly losing members, so all this does, it just makes PAL have to push it yet again, but this time all 4 members are up here right now. Colt playing a lot more defensively, but both members are quickly losing members. 2 down on both sides of the fence. Plan B is trying to carve out a path for Colt to get things going. Now we got Koreki on the tent here, trying to protect the Rainmaker holder as much as possible. Maybe the 10 of missiles could spread out the rest of the PAL so far, and yeah, PAL's just playing very defensively on this push. I want to say defensively on this push, playing a little bit more slow. As soon as they say that, now they're pushing right in conjunction with that 10.
And look at this footwork here from Cold to pack on another few points there for PAL, and with 3 down on the side of the Neo Comet Blasters, this push is definitely not dead, but Noob doing an excellent job here of maintaining just a little bit of pressure, making PAL second guess what sort of moves they're going to be making here. Do they want to try to force this push? And I think the answer is no, as we're going to see a Rainmaker reset. Noob with a nice double there as well to cap off that reset. And now this is going to buy the Neo Comet Blasters an opportunity here to get a really good reset as they try to get control of mid once again.
Yeah, good find by Omazen, but Omazen's gonna get traded out. So again, Neo Comet Blaster is gonna try to get this push going. Cold is gonna try to make sure to fire from above, and Cold does exactly that. So the Rainmaker hold does go down. Right now we got the Stingray being used in, trying to fire right at the bubble, but look at the amount of ink being thrown in by PAL to make sure that they don't get the immediate Rainmaker pop. Plan B does go down, but that's 2 down on Neo Comet Blaster side, so this push is going to get delayed by a bit, and PAL they're going to pick up the Rainmaker just now, and Colt opted to reset.
Interesting. I don't think they needed to get the hard reset there, because as you can see, Noob was the closest person there in center stage, so I don't think Noob would have made anything funny happen there, but, you know, sometimes you just want to be safe and sorry.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. You want to make sure you get you're safe here. You do have a lead. You want to make sure that Neo Comet Blasters have to work to make sure that they take the lead on this one. So it's just more of a safe and methodical play there. Cole does go down with the Rainmaker side there. It is right now one member down on Pal. So gonna be curious to see if Neo Comet Blasters try to strike first. What a find by Noob onto Koreki there as well. So maybe if Neo Comet Blasters are able to get this push going, maybe they can try to find something going, but they're still playing this one a little far back. So gonna be curious to see if they can continue to find. Again, Noob finds Cole. That's 14 splats onto Noob.
I'm glad you brought that up. 14 splats, and Noob is doing everything right now for the Neo Comet Blasters, keeping them in this game. They don't have the lead, but if they are going to get it, it's going to come off of a huge play from Noob, as Noob is the last person standing for the Neo Comet Blasters. This Rainmaker is going to be brought back into mid by Pal. They could just try to stall this one out if they really wanted to, but there's still a little bit too much time to play for that to happen. They just got to be a little bit cautious here as they bring this one into center stage.
And that's a good point. That there is enough time for the stall, but this will maybe get Neo Comet Blasters to say they gotta find that pick, and they sure did. That's again, Noob finds Cold. It is the Rainmaker going down. I think this is gonna be overtime coming up shortly here, unless Pal picks it up, and I think Pal's gonna be all over this Rainmaker here. That should seal it, and it does.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
A little bit too little too late from the Neo Comet Blasters, as they just weren't able to get themselves one more opportunity there. We would have loved to see it happen, but I mean, look at Almaz and Noob here, 17 and 16 each, leading the way for their respective teams.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Noob definitely still keeping the door open for Neo Comet Blasters as much as they can, but in spite of this, with Noob's best efforts, the rest of Neo Comet Blasters just could not get together to get a push going. Every time they tried to do so, Pal quickly found one or two members to get even Neo Comet Blaster, excuse me, to be able to push. So try to stumble around there a bit. So Neo Comet Blasters, a great effort overall, but Pal getting the better end of that one as we're about to load into Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit.
Yeah, and this is where that first set ended off. So this could be where Pal wins as well. Clamblets on Piranha Pit. I don't have word whether this is going to be a play all 7 once again between these two. We will find out after this game. But this is match point at the very least for Pal. So should they win this, they will very assuredly lock in that second seed for the playoffs. UT Dallas gonna finish, I believe, at it would be 2-3 if they were to lose this here, and that could really slot them in anywhere between the between the 3rd and the 4th seed. My apologies there. So both these teams still going to make the playoffs. It's just a matter of where these teams end up and who their opponent will be. MSU locked in the number 1 seed already. So UT Dallas, they could end up facing an undefeated Michigan State team.
Yeah, and both teams, and as you mentioned, pretty much an important game in terms of who they get to play against leading into playoffs here, as both teams are ready to go here. Still a lot of time, but it has to be a reverse sweep for the Neo Comet Blasters if they want to still be in this and still be in contention to stay on the 2nd or 3rd position. So, gonna be curious to see how they're gonna attack Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit. And we got some big weapon differences here. We got the Kenta Splattershot Jr. on Spam side. Ink's got the Bloblobber. Already back up the Jet Squelcher, the Neo Splash-O-Matic on Noob. So Noob switching back to the Neo Splash-O-Matic. We got a 10th, the K Dynamo, the K Pro, and the V Jr. as well on Pal's side. One member did immediately go down, but it hasn't amounted to much. But it is a quick Power Clam, actually. So gonna be curious to see how Pal pushes with this Power Clam, but they did lose it already, but they picked it back up.
Ooh, and that Booyah Bomb barely gonna clip Spam there. So Spam goes down. Pal maintaining a lot of pressure here despite going 3 down. An excellent pick there by Morty to shut down any chance of a push there. And this is gonna be an opportunity for the Neo Comet Blasters now to make something happen. But there are a couple members of PAL that position themselves very smart there to make this push very difficult. And Noob gonna get that first dunk. That's gonna be 3 down though, so this might just be a one and done situation. No, actually, a couple more clans gonna be coming in. So that's just gonna be a 1+2 with the wipe. So this push is over for UT Dallas. PAL getting very quick control of mid once again.
And Noob had some excellent maneuvering around some of the platforms to be able to secure, as you mentioned, the cash in on that power clam. But it has spawned the power clam on PAL's side, so we're gonna be here to see how they want to attack that. They can opt to leave it there for now, or they could they can try to push with that power clam that spawns in. Who knows? But right now, a nice early push, but still definitely not a whole lot of points cash in. Corky has the power clam.
And this is going to be PAL's first chance here to put points in the basket. They do have an extra power clam as well, so they're going to go ahead and get that in. That's 54 remaining, 3 down on Decider to Neo Comet Blasters. Can they keep this basket open? Yes, they do. So they're able to dunk in just a couple more. Can they get the power clam in? Yes, they do. So they're going to go ahead and just keep this push rolling. As the Neo Comet Blasters looking for answers, trying to shut down this push, finally able to stall it out just long enough, but the damage is already done as they sit with 22 remaining. That is a phenomenal push out of PAL.
And as you mentioned, a great push from PAL there too. And yeah, and as you mentioned, Neo Comet Blasters had a lot of members down, so it just kept the door open for PAL to get even more points in. They cashed in on 3 power clams on that push alone, so it was a really solid push compared to the 1 power clam and +2 situation from Neo Comet Blasters. Still a lot of time left on the clock though for Neo Comet Blasters to still get a better push of their own, but it's gonna require a good amount of clam collecting and some good picks against PAL. Gonna be curious to see how they play this one out.
They do have the clam economy in their favor here, as they do have control of 16 clams, but of course, as I say that, PAL gonna be building up a huge clam bank themselves, and they do have a little bit of numbers to work with, so once again, the Neo Comet Blasters starting to find themselves on the back foot here, but a nice couple of picks. 3 down now for PAL. Can they get the clean sweep? No, it's not going to happen. The K-Pro going to be retreating to that right ramp. But no, actually, taking the long way around is Duke's going to intercept
no.
it. But no! Plan B going to come in and clean up the UT Dallas on the flip side of things here. So 27 clams in their pockets. This could be a knockout push that we see out of PAL.
Oh man, UT Dallas. I like the idea. They're trying to push a lot further in with PAL members going down as I think they're about to cash in on a good push here. They do break the barrier to get things going. There's a lot of clams going in.
Yes, and that is it. PAL putting this one away in knockout fashion, securing the Game 4 victory and the sweep of the set.
Oh man, so a few things to note there on that map. See, UT Dallas, they had the right idea. They were trying to push up after taking a good chunk of members from PAL, but they overextended trying to eliminate the K-Pro, and they found themselves in a really rocky position. Plan B, as you mentioned, finding the associated picks there, and PAL fired back with a huge push, and then the team wipe came in, and that's pretty much secured it for PAL. The map 4 belonging to PAL and the sweep, as you mentioned. PAL is gonna secure that second place in Division B.
Yeah, so that is indeed going to be a secure second place for PAL. So they definitely are going to take this and hope that they can book themselves an opportunity for a rematch with MSU should things play out like that in the championship game. So that's definitely what's on, I think, PAL's agenda at this point. The Neo Comet Blasters, though, definitely going to be going into the playoffs, hoping to play a spoiler for whoever they play between Michigan State, or they could even get a PAL rematch pending what happens in tomorrow's matchup between UNC Greensboro, Greensboro. That is a hard word to say, actually. And
I
San
get you
Diego
there.
State.
Yeah, the San Diego State versus Greensboro matchup is huge because if I'm not mistaken, this is going to dictate the 4th place position, and we are going to be seeing a playoff 7. I like this. It's CCA tradition again. But yeah, real quickly, that matchup between San Diego State and Greensboro is going to loom large in terms of the seeding there. Number 4 and number 3 going to be dependent on tomorrow's matchup for sure. So do be on the lookout for that. And yeah, as you mentioned, this was a convincing 4 maps from PAL. They could be looking their way to see if they can take on MSU, but they got to get through whomever will be on that 3rd place position.
Yes, so both of these matchups had some pretty big stakes here. So definitely we've already got half of the story covered. Now the question is, what is the other half going to look like? Because between UNC Greensboro and San Diego State, winner makes playoffs, loser doesn't. So that is huge stakes. So whether that now translates into various tiebreakers and stuff like that, because I believe whatever happens there, you get a tiebreak between Comet Blasters and the winner of that matchup. So we would have to look at that. So us league officials will have to, go through that whenever it happens and figure out what the proper seeding will be. But congratulations, first of all, to PAL for sweeping the set 4-0. So we are going to get a play all 6 from my understanding, as both of these teams have agreed that they do not like the idea of playing Rainmaker on Wahoo World. So they are going to play out game 5 and 6.
It took me a quick it took me a quick second, but apparently I needed to make sure I heard that right. A play all 6 with the exception of Wahoo World Rainmaker. So all you fans of Wahoo World Rainmaker, you will not get your wish this evening. Oh my
goodness.
Good. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that a okay? There's a lot of things to unload here. This is gonna take me a second.
Wait, so we got the double remix coming out here.
I needed to confirm if this is what you were cracking up upon, because I did sound like, wait, are my eyes working, or are they messing with me? No, that is a double heavy Splatly remixes. I know a few people I know that will be huge fans of seeing this one, so they do see the early lead on the PAL. They are going to be taking down the penalty points. I'm trying to process the double heavy Splatly remix here. Give me a second.
I am as well. You know what? This is the new meta, everybody. And no one can tell me otherwise.
The new meta featuring 2 heavy Splatly remixes again. I would know a few people off the top of my head that would definitely appreciate the idea of the double heavy Splatly remixes here. While we're getting too torn up about that right now, PAL is having all control right now in that zone.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I cannot handle this PAL team right now. Running this double remix correctly, also with the beacons hopping around the map. This is a Purdue special, and they're gonna go ahead and ride this one out to the clean knockout. Hey, you know what? This is the meta.
Purdue, PAL, I'm very sure you're definitely messing with us here, but I also appreciate the double remixes.
Oh, man.
You have made me proud this evening. But yeah, as you mentioned, that was a very convincing zones map in Alpha Core Hotel. For a good chunk of it. Yeah, Neo Comet Blasters tried their best, but they just fell behind just a bit, and it just wasn't enough. So now we're on to the Reef Tower Control. I'm still gonna have to process the double remix. I wonder what PAL is gonna throw at us for map 6 here.
Oh no, yeah, ITAP. Oh, ITAP definitely had a little bit of influence on that one.
Thanks, ITAP.
Yes. So. Oh man, definitely gonna miss this. Both of these Purdue teams pulling out the shenanigans like this under the Purdue brand, I should say. So, man, Cool. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard through a entire match as I did just now. So
I did, and the good chunk of it was me having to process what Pal was trying to throw at me there. The double remix was great, but also I'm curious to see what's gonna happen on map 6 here. I'm sure Neo Comet Blasters also want to see this map 6 go on a really high note for them, as I think we're the last ones right on here. As I don't know if I even God. I'm still gonna have to collect my thoughts here real quick, but yeah, we're about to load in on Tower Control Reef.
yes, so this should be the final game, as far as we are aware, of this play all 6 of this matchup here. So we're gonna finish this one off on Tower Control Reef, taking a look at these comps here. Something a little bit more that makes sense, but I still love the continued creativity from both of these teams. They really just brought out all sorts of different weapons, everybody trying new weapons every single game, it seems. So we really haven't seen a whole lot of repeats in, compositions across the board. So this is what honestly I really love about teams, particularly with the lower level scene. It's just, you always see so many people being creative with the competitions and just having fun with the game.
I appreciate that both teams are definitely having fun, trying out all the fun things here. DRF, I'm not sure if you noticed, we might be seeing a Clash Blaster duel. Who will play the better Clash Blaster here between both of these teams? As you notice, also shout outs to, I think that's the novel nose on the hands of Neo Comet Blasters there as well. So a lot of fun weapons I'm seeing from across the board here. Both teams not quite having control of mid from this map's standpoint. Actually, well, there's 2 down for Neo Comet Blasters. Pal's going to be able to reverse course.
Yes, and a nice pick there from Cold. Make it a second. Oh, then that's going to end up being a trade, actually. But this tower is still moving, and this part of the tower route is just so tricky to work with defensively. This is essentially 3 points. You can try to pressure it all you want. You just have to be a little bit cautious. You might as well get yourself in a good position to stop it at this crucial second checkpoint, which is exactly what we're seeing the Comet Blasters do now, as Ink was diving in on the tower there. Able to get 1 down, but they do go down themselves, and this second checkpoint might just fall, and it does. The splashdown trying to make something happen, and not going to be able to do anything, as this tower just continues to move forward, and finally the Neo Comet Blaster is able to stop it at this 3rd checkpoint momentarily.
Yeah, and yeah, Neo Comet Blasters defense does slow. This is pretty much part of the map here, where the defense is going to be dictating whether they will get the KO or they're able to get the important hold. And in this case, the Neo Comet Blasters are able to get the hold against PAL. So great defense there by the rest of the Neo Comet Blasters. So right now, Neo Comet Blasters still plenty of time. 2:30 left to go. 21 points remaining. Still definitely winnable. As you mentioned, that second checkpoint, pretty much an easy checkpoint to get. Gonna be curious to see how Neo Comet Blasters try to make this attack work, as 8 armor is gonna be coming out right now, and right now they're just running out this tower.
Yeah, so Neo Comet Blasters find themselves in this free territory, as I like to call it, so they should be able to put significant points on the board. It's going to be a matter of how does PAL respond defensively here, and it looks like they are going to pull out a Stingray and missiles, so this push is going to get stalled here. A couple of nice hits, Omen's trying to clean it up here, but no, not going to be any good, as Ink is the last person standing. So a great stop nonetheless, just not able to get the clean sweep like I think PAL was hoping to get.
Yeah, for PAL's standpoint though, for sure a much better hold at that stage in the game. That is a very rough workaround to make happen, but they were, as you mentioned, the Stingray and the missiles were coming out in good succession. There are 2 members already down on the Comet Blaster side. So right now, PAL is on right up this tower. They are trying to see if they can get a better push of their own right now. Great, he does get found by Morty there, as I'm gonna be curious to see if Neo Comet Blasters can counter with their defense, but they did lose 2 in the process.
Yes, and look at Morty coming from behind the tower. They're able to get 1 plus the assist, but it's going to be Pal that puts a couple of points on the board. That's going to be a wipe. So Pal's going to be completely shut down here, and this tower is going to slowly get reset. Ink riding this one out to try to bring it back to mid, and possibly trying to, get a couple of players that might try to dive onto this tower to keep up this pressure, but it looks like Pal's going to go ahead and play this one with a little bit more caution, and oh, the splashdown cancel!
The splashdown cancel was huge. Because once again, they're gonna have to try to figure out how to stop this push by Neo Comet Blasters. That splashdown could have been a lot. From the side of Neo Comet Blasters, that's 3 down. The defense steps up for Pal, and Pal is able to reverse course on this tower. And the splashdown does get 1. It's only a consolation prize at this point, though, as the tower is likely going to get stalled right here. They only have 10 seconds left for Neo Comet Blasters to make this push.
And they do see one of their members going down here. Morty with the Tri-Slosher going to try to get a couple picks here, but going to go through the rain and the missiles. And it doesn't look like that UT Dallas has anything left to work with here, running out of ammunition. So it is going to be Pal that runs away with this 6th and final game.
Yeah, Pal had a great defense before they could even reach the second checkpoint. So it was a very good effort by Neo Comet Blasters at the very end to get a much better push going. Pal just had other ideas to fire off the Stingray and the missiles to pressure out the rest of Neo Comet Blasters, and just a great masterclass of how to play the defense around that second checkpoint. And as you have confirmed, only 6 maps. They did not want to entertain the idea of Wahoo World Rainmaker.
Yep, so it is a play all 6 here. Pal going to be sweeping the set 4 games to 0, the play all 6 sweeping it as well, 6 games to 0. But a huge credit to them for doing that, a dominant victory on the scoreboard. However, we definitely need to give our kudos to the Neo Comet Blasters. They played a phenomenal set and probably one of the most memorable tower control matches I have ever seen.
That tower control map was great in every aspect. As you mentioned, Neo Comet Blasters definitely played this set very well. They definitely tried to do everything they can to make sure that they can get all their leads in the 4 maps that were officially recorded. That tower control map was just so close, a heartbreaker as you mentioned, but they've kept this set as close as it can. And yeah, shoutouts to Neo Comet Blasters as well for pretty much producing a very good set with Pal at the mix.
Man, yeah, a phenomenal double header though that we've had tonight between both of these teams. Although the scoreboard definitely shows how much of a sweep either set was, both of these teams, or I should say both of these maps, both of these matches, words are difficult today.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
All these teams really just brought everything, giving us some very, very memorable matches. I mean, that first set, UCSD just played with so much fury and dominated Penn State through the rest of the set after an insane 3v4 victory. And on the flip side, that second matchup between Pal and UT Dallas, man, some great matchups there. I honestly think that this is probably my favorite doubleheader so far that we've done.
Oh yeah, for sure. These were great sets all around by all of the teams that have played today. So just an entertaining doubleheader that we've got to witness. It was fun being a part of both of those. So but at the end of the day though, for the first one, which is the Division A playoff set, UCSD advanced to finals today. Pal pretty much securing the number 2 seed. Neo Comet Blasters waiting on tiebreakers based on tomorrow's matchups. That's pretty much the end of that story. But I don't know. I'm still trying to all those classic matchups. Yeah, all those classic matchups. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna remember for quite some time.
Oh yes, and I will definitely be saving the VOD for this one as soon as this one is over. So be on the lookout for that if you want to relive any of these memories. So That's gonna do it for us here, though, in the booth today. Thank you so much, first of all, to our sponsor, MSI, once again. The winner of these finals sets, which are going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, will be going home with some Switch carrying cases courtesy of MSI, along with some other goodies that we have from them as well. And second of all, thank you, Keon, for joining me on the mic today. Go ahead and plug yourself. Where can we find you?
Yeah, no problem. Hi, I'm Kyon. I have a Twitter and a Twitch, of course. I do all sorts of variety streaming, really, for the most part. But Splatoon is definitely within one of my many repertoires. Actually, next Friday, I will also be hosting the lower brackets for a Splatoon league called the Proton Splat League as well. So do be on the lookout for that if you want to see more Splatoon action next Friday. So. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have. So
awesome.
I hope to see you guys around.
Yes. So yeah, if you actually want to see UCSD playing in that next week, they will be there. So fingers crossed that things go well for them.
Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye out for that. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. So that's going to go ahead and do it for us here today. Thank you all so much for joining us. This was so much fun. And be sure to tune in for more CCA League matchups. You do not want to miss them as we get to the thrilling conclusion of our inaugural league. With that said, let's go ahead and get a raid started. Thank you all so much once again, and have a wonderful rest of your night.
Have a good night, everybody.